number, we are studying the letter number 111, chronological letter, written by the Mahatmas to AP Senate. And the study is being directed by Brother C.A. Shinde, who's the International Speaker of the Theosophical Society at Adyar. So let us begin our session with the universal invocation. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom.
O hidden light, vibrant in every atom.
O hidden light, shining in every creature.
O hidden light, shining in every creature.
O hidden love, embracing all in oneness.
O hidden love, embracing all in oneness.
May each who feels himself as one with thee
May each who feels himself as one with thee
know he is also one with every other.
know he is also one with every other.
Thank you and welcome back. Professor Shindeji, I request you to start our session today.
Well, good evening to all of you and thanks Vibhaji for introduction. We have been studying this letter number 111, Mahatma letter number 111, part by part. And in the last session, we studied, and what we have understood is, the great master is the term used by the Chela to indicate one's higher self, Avalokiteshwar, who is equivalent to Avalokiteshwar. Our higher self, in a one sense, equivalent to Avalokiteshwar. For Buddhist occultist, the term used is Adi Buddha, Avalokiteshwar. And Hindu tradition, we use Atman or Christos for the ancient Gnostics. Objective universe is Mahamaya, great illusion. As we use the words Father, Guru, or Master. We also say where one initiator is invoked, the initiate who leads to a disciple through the knowledge, a correct knowledge is given to him, and this is what we call spiritual birth or second birth. After the nirvana, actual traveling starts. So what we have to understand and what we have tried to understand from TS literature is Sanat Kumar, in whom we all live and move and have our being, is our head planetary representative. Even Avalokiteshvara, we have said like that, the head planetary representative who presides over hierarchies. He rules, but divides his rule between three departments. And there are departmental heads, the Manu, the Bodhisattva, and the Mahachohan. These three great masters preside over the affairs of government, religion, and the business of whole earth, respectively. In their guidance, two masters, as we know, taken the responsibility of founding the Theosophical Society since 1875. It is mainly to realize the brotherhood of humanity. So as human beings, we are both spiritual and material. We are both white and black, light and dark. It is the interaction between these dual nature that gives life. This is what we have understood. with this background, we can read now this chronological letter number 111. So the first slide you can project, Vibhaji.
Yes, sir, I'll do it.
Please. Because let them see what master wants to convey. The master writes, what a common ruse. Here ruse means what a common move it is of your Aristotelians. What a common move it is of your Aristotelians with the Seleuthans. Seleuthans is a person's name. With the Seleuth hands, persistence, they track an idea to the very verge of the impassable chasm. Impassable chasm is a metaphoric word that is a deep valley. See, what master says, what a common move it is of your Aristotelians. With the Seleuthans' persistence, they track an idea to the very verge of the impassable chasm and then brought it to bay, means to the surface, and leave into the metaphysicians to take up the trail if they can. Otherwise, let it be lost. This is what he straightway suggests. It is but natural that what master says, of course, it is but natural that a Christian theologian or a missionary should act upon this line, since as easily perceived even in the little I gave out just now, a too correct rendering of our Avalokiteshvara and Kwansha-in might have very disastrous effects. So half knowledge is a dangerous thing. What I have given you little about the Avalokiteshvara or Kwansha-in, if you have not gone detail into it, if you don't give a persistence, and if you just track an idea to the verge of the impassable chasm and bring it to the surface and leave it to the metaphysician to take up the trail if they can, or let it be lost. This is what it is, a Avalokiteshvara and Kwansha-in. All these are, it is a manifested logos which master expressed. It is a germ point of manifested activity. So one, to understand this, one has to go deeper and deeper. That is what master wants to suggest. In the next slide, he says, next slide, please. It would simply amount to showing Christendom, the true and undeniable origin of the awful and incomprehensible mysteries of its Trinity. If you understand, otherwise you leave it, it would simply amount to showing what is it, Christendom. It is a Christian one, the Christian's attitude, the true and undeniable origin of the awful and incomprehensible mysteries of his Trinity into Father, Son, Spirit, and Mother, like Father, Son, and Spirit. Further, he says, transubstantiation, immaculate conception, as also when their ideas of the Father, Son, Spirit, and Mother. It is less easy to shuffle as you please. Here, a word, Italian word is used. piacere. That is the Italian word. But the meaning is, it is less easy to shuffle as you please. So if you don't go interior to understand what is this Avalokiteshvara, then it is less easy to shuffle as you please the cards of Buddhist chronology than those of Christian and Christ, or than those of not Christian, than those of Krishna and Christ. They cannot place, however much they would, the birth of our Lord Sanghya's Buddha, as they have contrived to place that of Krishna. This is very, I can say, from the beginning I have said, this is a memorandum to AP Senate, how your Christian attitude and how you combine that Krishna and Christ. Once the Mahachohan wrote, and he made it clear to the mystical Christianity, where he said, mystical Christianity, that is to say that Christianity which teaches self-redemption through our own seventh principle. That is what we discussed last time. This liberated Paratma, called by some Christ, by others Buddha, and equivalent to regeneration or rebirth in spirit, will be found just the same truth as the nirvana of Buddhism. This is what Mahachohan makes us to understand and study. We will go to the next, where Master asks, next slide.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I have given.
No, but why should an atheist? No, which you have given?
Why should?
The master asked, but why should an atheist and a materialist like Mr. Rhys Davids so avoid the correct rendering of our dogmas? He asked the question. So Rhys Davids is a professor, he is a Buddhist, he is the author of many Buddhist books. And then he says, why should an atheist, even if he is not believing in God, why should an atheist or materialist like Mr. Rhys Davids so avoid the correct rendering of our dogmas? Even when he happens to understand them, which does not happen every day, is something surprisingly curious. See, the people like intellectuals, like Rhys Davids, etc., if they really go deeper and deeper in a process of understanding, then he can take a jump from intellect to intuition, which does not happen every day. That is what Master wants to suggest him. Is it not then, in this instance, in next paragraph he says, is it not then in this instance the blind and guilty Rhys Davids leads the blind and innocent Mr. Lilly? See, the intellectual person, wise man can deceive very wisely. That is what Master wants to suggest to AP Senate. In this instance, the blind and guilty Rhys Davids leads the blind and innocent Mr. Lilly into the ditch. So you are misleading the lily, where the lily catching at the proffered straw and rejoices in the idea that Buddhism teaches in reality a personal God. So they come to this conclusion then. The innocent people who are not going deeper and deeper, and they are believing the elder one. And therefore, you don't give them immediately the half knowledge. Otherwise, they teach in reality the personal God, what the Buddhism teaches as the personal God. But it is made clear in our Mahatma letter 88 that neither our philosophy nor ourselves believe in God. That's what we discussed last time. Philosophy is preeminently the science of effects by their causes and of causes by their effects. So Parabrahma is not God, but absolute immutable law, and or Ishvara is the effect of avidya and maya, ignorance based upon the great delusion. The word God was invented to designate the unknown cause of those effects which man has either admired or dreaded without understanding them. The idea of God is not innate, but an acquired notion. This is what in the other letter Master has cleared it. So one must clear about the mysteries of Trinity. So we know very well, in Indian tradition, we know very well these mysteries of Trinity, which we don't appreciate. Actually, we must study this also. We know Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Brahma, he is Jivandata. He is Dirghayudata. Brahma is Jivandata, Dirghayudata. And Vishnu, he is Annadata and Sukhadata. And Shiva, he is Dandadata and Mrityudata. So when we say this, Brahma, God of creation, Vishnu, God of preservation, Shiva, the God of destruction. So all these terms we use God as Trinity. The God of kindness and positiveness is Brahma. God of righteousness and success is Vishnu. God of justice and fitness is Shiva. And we also study about the goddess. No question of personal God. God has his goddess also. As Brahma has goddess Vidya, Saraswati, Vishnu has goddess Lakshmi, and Shiva has goddess Shakti or Parvati. So all these we also relate these trinity which tamasa, rajasa, and sattva gunas which are in our material body. So when we understand this divine trinity, then the master asks, next slide, a question. Next slide. Then master asks, does your British Theosophical Society, BTS, know the meaning of the white and black interlaced triangles of the parent society seal that it has also adopted? See, the very straight question he is asking. When you are thinking of Trinity, does the British Theosophical Society know the meaning of these two triangles, white and black, which we have included in our emblem, which we have adopted? Shall I explain it? And he has explained in this letter, what are these? The double triangle viewed by the Jewish Kabbalists as Solomon's seal is, as many of you doubtless know, the Sri Yantra of the archaic Aryan temple, the mystery of mysteries, a geometrical synthesis of the whole occult doctrine. So, therefore, Master insists us try to study these white and black interlaced triangles of the parent society. See that it has also adopted. Very important to go through this seal, because doubtlessly we have already adopted Sri Yantra, which is on this architect of the Sri Yantra, we have built the temples, which is the mystery of mysteries, which is the geometrical synthesis of the whole occult doctrine. Does your British Theosophical Society know the meaning of this white and black interlaced triangle? This is the question he asked. I don't want to explain because it is very important rather, we'll see further. And we know very well, and many times we have given lecture on this emblem of the Theosophical Society. Next slide. The two interlaced triangles are Buddhanga Maj. Buddhanga Maj. Buddhanga Maj means it is interlaced triangle or the Buddhanga Maj of creation. They contain the squaring of the circle, the philosopher's stone, the great problems of life and death, and the mystery of evil. So this interlaced triangle has got so much power. It is acting like a philosopher's stone. The philosopher's stone that changes the transforms completely. You know, that stone, if it is touches to iron, it converts into gold. So everything becomes pure, that which is impure. The chela who can explain this sign from every one of its aspects is really virtually an adept. So what Master want to suggest to AP Senate? You do study this emblem. You go deeper and deeper and try to understand the meaning of all this and explain this sign from every one of its aspects. Then virtually an adept. So to do efforts is to become an adept. That is how the master suggests. So the next slide.
Yes, sir.
Here the master expresses his own surprise. Surprise that how is it then that the only one, how is it that the only one among you, how is it that then the only one among you who has come so nearer to unraveling the mystery is also the only one who got none of her ideas from books. So one has understood it. How is that? Many times Krishnamurti also in his lecture says, I wonder if you understand this. The same way, Master says, how is it then that the only one among you who has come so nearer to unraveling the mystery is? So which is the mystery which is unraveling? How is then that the only one among you got it? Who has no idea from books? How you got it? That is surprising. Who is this only one? And here I got the name, the Dr. Anna Kingsford. She is a London Lodge member and also co-author of book, The Perfect Way. So how she could get it? Then further explains, unconsciously she gives out to him who has the key, the first syllable of the ineffable name. So this is a key has given two interlaced triangles, mystery. Of course, you know that the double triangle, the Shatkon Chakram of Vishnu or the six-pointed star is the perfect 7. So here, you know that the double triangle, the Shatkon Chakram of Vishnu or the six-pointed star is the perfect 7. You know, 5-pointed star is the symbol of human being. And 6-pointed star is the symbol of adepts. And this 7th is the embedded in it in the center. So this ineffable name, how is it then that the only one among you who has come so nearer and unraveling? So Master expresses his surprise. Really, I have given the name and you got up to that. So whenever these powers are needed, this shows whenever the powers are needed, the sovereign will unlock the door to the inner man. Who is this inner man? Inner man here, in the beginning I said, he is the Avalokiteshwar, he is an adept who can emerge and act freely, but on condition that his jailer, the outer man, will be either completely or partially paralyzed. This is what in Voice of the Silence, HPB also said, let your lunar body get paralyzed. Unless it is paralyzed, you cannot go into such mysteries. So from 5-pointed star to 6-pointed star and entering into the center of the 7th one, these all efforts need to be done. And it is done by the only one, that is the Anna Kingsford. So where you can read that book, The Perfect Way. She is the author of that book. The next slide. In all the Sanskrit, in all the old Sanskrit works, Vedic and Tantric, you find the number 6 mentioned more often than 7. This last figure, 7th one, is the central point being implied, for it is the germ of the 6 and their matrix also. It is both germ of the 6 and also the field matrix. It is then thus the central point standing for 7th. And the circle is Mahakasha, endless space, for the 7th universal principle. So this is how Master clearly explains in this letter. When we are studying this, our emblem, he explains very nicely. And it concerned with our evolution also. How it is, you know, upward triangle, downward triangle. Downward triangle is the involution, upward triangle is the evolution. All this in central point, Anka. This is what the central point, standing for 7th. And the circle is Mahakasha, endless space, for the 7th universal principle. So in one sense, both are viewed as Avalokiteshwar, for they are respectively the macrocosms and the microcosm. So when we are studying about this 6-pointed star and the central 7th one, this is actually the macrocosm and the microcosm circled by the Mahakasha. This is what Master want to explain us. Next slide. He explains again the interlaced triangles. Very well he explained. The upper pointing one is the wisdom concealed, and the downward pointing one wisdom revealed in the phenomenal world. So one is unmanifest, another is manifest. Because in one, wisdom is concealed, in the other, wisdom is revealed in the phenomenal world. It is revealed in the phenomenal world. So as man is the manifestation of God, and therefore God is reality to man. When we understand this, man himself is the manifestation of God, and therefore our duty is, our reality is God. And the circle indicates the bounding, circumscribing quality of the all, the universal principle which from any given point expands so as to embrace all things while embodying the potentiality of every action in the cosmos. Very clearly, he explains what this circumscribing quality of the all universal principles. So next slide. As the point then is the center round which the circle is traced, they are identical and one. So all this together, it is one. They are not separated. And though from the standpoint of Maya and Avidya, illusion and ignorance, one is separated from the other by the manifested triangles, the three sides of which represents the gunas, that is inertia, activity, and tamasa. These are the finite attributes. In symbology, the central point is Jivatma. See how clearly Mahatma letters gives our Hindu tradition names also. In symbology, the central point is Jivatma, the seventh principle. And hence, Avalokiteshvara, the Quan Shai in, the manifested wise or logos, the germ point of the manifested activity. So, what this Jivatma? It is the germ point of manifested activity. As I said, we are the manifestation of the God. And therefore, we must go deep into ourselves to find the God. Next slide. Hence, in the phraseology of the Christian Kabbalists, the son of the father and mother, agreeably to ours, the self manifested in self. See, here he explains the self manifested in self, in Shen, the one form of existence, the child of Dharmakaya. Again, this word is very important, child of Dharmakaya. This Dharmakaya, the universally diffused essence, both male and female. So from this universally diffused essence, the one form of existence, the child of Dharmakaya. Let me explain this. We have studied already from the theosophical literature, especially the Buddhist, different kayas. Of course, after Nirvana, these kayas are there. Dharmakaya, dharma or truth body, it is called. Sambhogakaya is the enjoyment body. And Nirmanakaya is the created body. And Swabhavakaya is the self-existing body. So these are the kayas, means, body, vehicles. But these vehicles after Nirvana, not now. These are very subtle bodies, very etheric bodies. Because Dharmakaya itself is the vehicle taken for accomplishing the duty which is the responsibility. And therefore, with Dharmakaya, one works for the truth. Therefore, it is called the truth body. Sambhogakaya, you can enjoy the freedom with this Sambhogakaya. It is not that Sambhog which we understand in material world. It is to enjoy Ananda, Satchidananda. Ananda is there. You can be in that Ananda, in that enjoyment. Nirmanakaya, you can manifest that body from the matrix around you. Universal diffused essence which is there, you can create that one. So these are the different kayas. When it came to the Dharmakaya, that I want to explain, in which both male and female are there. So Parabrahma or Adi Buddha, especially in the beginning I said, for what we say, Adi Buddha is Avalokiteshvara. While acting through that germ point outwardly as an active force, reacts from the circumferences inwardly as the supreme but latent potency. So potentially we are the masters. When we are going inward and inward, we can touch to that potentiality which wanted to express outside. And whatever expressing outside is that expression is also from that potentiality. So next, again he comes to the double triangle. The double triangle symbolizes the great passive and great active, the male and female, Purusha and Prakriti. These terms are quite familiar to all of us. Each triangle is a trinity because presenting a triple aspect. Very well he explains, the white represents in its straight lines the Jnanam, Jnata and Jnaniyam, means knowledge, the knower, that which is known. So this is observer, observed and object, like this trinity. That indicates the upward triangle. And those sides of the triangle, they are having these meaning. Jnata, Jnata and Jnani. This is the explanation he gave for the white triangle. And the black triangle, the black form, color and substance. Also the creative, preservative and destructive. That is what Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha. Again, see what we have studied in traditional religion, etc. It is also the truth. Only we have to relate that one. So these are the creative, preservative and destructive forces. And these are mutually correlating and therefore they are interlaced. So double triangle symbolize the great passive and great active, the male and female, Purusha and Prakriti. This is how he explains about our emblem. Next slide. Well, may you admire and more should you wonder at the marvelous lucidity of that remarkable seeress. So seeress, seer and seeress. Here it, I think, a woman who predicts events or prophecies. So here it is more towards HPB, I think. Well, may you admire and more should you wonder at the marvelous lucidity of that remarkable seeress. serious, who ignorant of Sanskrit or Pali and thus shut out from their metaphysical treasures, has yet seen a great light shining from behind the dark hills of exoteric religions. So this is that lady who got that marvelous thing from the dark hills of exoteric religions. How think you did the writers of the perfect way, that is the, as I said, Anna Kingsford, come to know the Adonai. Adonai is the Lord, was the Son and not the Father. How think you did the writers of the perfect way come to know that Adonai was the Son and not the Father, or that the third person of the Christian Trinity is female? How you thought like that? Adonai, he is the Lord or Master. It is a Hebrew word, Adonai. Then when you assign a meaning to the Adonai as Son, Father, or Christian Trinity is female. So Adonai is female, as you said. How think you did the writers of the perfect way come to know Adonai was the Son and not the Father, or that the third person of the Christian Trinity is female? Verily, they lay in that work several times their hands upon the keystone of occultism. Without the help of this, how they understood all this, Son, Father, all these faculties in that Adonai, without the help of keystone of occultism. So who is this keystone? Who transfers everything is a mystery. So in the last slide, only does the lady who persists using without an explanation the misleading term God in her writings know how nearly she comes up to our doctrine when saying, having for Father Spirit, which is life, the endless circle or Parabrahma, and for Mother, the great deep, which is substance, Prakriti, in its undifferentiated condition. Adonai possesses the potency of both and wields the dual powers of all things. We would say triple, but in the sense as given, this will do. See, in this Pythagorean, or also when it says 1, there is no 2. After 1, it becomes 3. There is no 2 in the middle. So here, Adonai possesses the potency of both, wields the dual powers of all things. And we would say triple, but in the sense as given, this will do. So we'll study in the next part. He explains the Pythagorean, how 1 becomes 3, and how this 3 number and 4 number together becomes 7. All this is explained very nicely in the Mahatma letter. But this explanation needs our basic study. Otherwise, it goes difficult to understand. Even Divine Trinity, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, all these steps must go. When the object and the meditator, they are separate. We are observing the object separately. That is called, but constantly, with concentration, we are observing the subject of meditation. And when interaction begins, between the meditator and the object, then that interaction is itself a dhyana state. And the samadhi state, that object, you and object are not separate. There is no gap. There is nothing interaction. You become that object itself. This is how the divine trinity helps. I think we have tried to understand more deeply and try to relate what Master want to convey us through his letter. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening carefully. I don't know whether I have made it understandable or not. If any mistake is there, it is with me only. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for explaining these some very deep and occult terms which are there in this letter. I now invite Sister Meenakshi ji to give us the translation in Hindi.
नमस्ते। आज हम लेटर नंबर 111 का अगला पार्ट ले रहे हैं और इसे मैं ट्रांसलेट करने की मैंने कोशिश की है। तो मास्टर सीनेट से कहते हैं, एक्सक्यूज मी, मास्टर सीनेट से कहते हैं कि क्या आपके ब्रिटिश थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी को पेरेंट सोसाइटी यानी थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी के प्रतीक चिन्ह के एक साथ गूंथे हुए सफेद और काले त्रिकोणों का यानी व्हाइट एंड ब्लैक इंटरलेस ट्रायंगल्स का अर्थ पता है, जिसे उन्होंने भी अपनाया है? क्या इसे मैं स्पष्ट करूं? आगे मास्टर कहते हैं कि ज्यू कबालिस्ट द्वारा सोलोमन्स सील के रूप में देखा जाने वाला डबल ट्रायंगल यह पुरातन आर्य मंदिर के श्री यंत्र है, रहस्यों का रहस्य, संपूर्ण गुह्य सिद्धांत का एक ज्यामितीय संकलन है। यह एक साथ गूंथे हुए त्रिकोण सृष्टि की रचना के बुद्धांगम है। उनमें स्क्वेरिंग ऑफ द सर्कल, फिलोसॉफिकल स्टोन, जीवन व मृत्यु के महान प्रश्न और मिस्ट्री ऑफ इविल अंतर्निहित है। जो चेला इस चिन्ह के हर एक पहलू को समझा सकता है वह वास्तव में एक सिद्ध पुरुष है। फिर ऐसा कैसे है कि आप में से एकमात्र एना किंग्सफोर्ड जो इस रहस्य को सुलझाने के इतने करीब पहुंच गई है, वह भी एकमात्र ऐसी है जिसने किताबों से कोई कल्पना नहीं ली। अनजाने में वह उसे अकथनीय नाम का प्रथम अक्षर दे देती है जिसके पास कुंजी है। बेशक आप जानते हैं कि डबल ट्रायंगल विष्णु का षटकिरी चक्र या 6 पॉइंटेड स्टार है जो पूर्णतः 7 पॉइंटेड है, परफेक्ट 7। वैदिक और तांत्रिक पुराने संस्कृत ग्रंथों में 7 की तुलना में 6 अंक का उल्लेख अधिकतर पाते हैं। यह 7वां अंक जो केंद्र बिंदु है, यह 6 और उनके मैट्रिक्स का बीज मूल स्रोत है। इस प्रकार मध्य बिंदु 7वें पॉइंट को दर्शाता है और सर्कल महाआकाश, अनंत आकाश, 7th यूनिवर्सल प्रिंसिपल के लिए है। दोनों ही अवलोकितेश्वर के रूप में माने जाते हैं क्योंकि वे क्रमशः ब्रह्मांड, मनुष्य है। इंटरलेस्ड ट्रायंगल्स के ऊपरी और मुख वाला ट्रायंगल गुप्त ज्ञान व नीचे की ओर मुख वाला भौतिक जगत में प्रकाशित हुआ ज्ञान को दर्शाता है। सर्कल यह यूनिवर्सल प्रिंसिपल की सीमाबद्ध परिसीमित गुणवत्ता को दर्शाता है जो किसी भी दिए गए बिंदु से सभी चीजों को शामिल करने के लिए विस्तारित होता है। साथ ही ब्रह्मांड के सभी क्रियाओं की क्षमता को मूर्त रूप देता है। जो कि बिंदु वह केंद्र है जिसके चारों ओर सर्कल बना हुआ है, वे एक समान और एक रूप है। और हालांकि माया और अविद्या के दृष्टिकोण से देखे तो वे एक दूसरे से मैनिफेस्टेड ट्रायंगल के रूप में विलग होते हैं, जिसकी प्रत्येक बाजू सीमित त्रिगुणों को दर्शाती है। सिंबोलॉजी में सेंट्रल पॉइंट यानी केंद्र बिंदु यह जीवात्मा यानी सेवंथ प्रिंसिपल है। इसीलिए अवलोकितेश्वर क्वांट शाई इन मैनिफेस्टेड वॉइस वाक व्यक्त क्रिया का मूल बिंदु है, जर्म पॉइंट है। इसीलिए ईसाई कब्बालिस्टों के शब्दावली में द सन ऑफ द फादर एंड मदर और हमारे अनुसार द सेल्फ मैनिफेस्टेड इन सेल्फ, आत्मन में अभिव्यक्त आत्मन, ई सिन, द वन फॉर्म ऑफ एग्जिस्टेंस, द चाइल्ड ऑफ धर्मकाया, सार्वभौमिक रूप से विस्तारित सत, मेल और फीमेल दोनों ही है। परब्रह्म या आदि बुद्ध उस जर्म पॉइंट के माध्यम से बाहरी तौर पर एक सक्रिय शक्ति के रूप में कार्य करते हैं हुए परिधि से आंतरिक तौर पर सर्वोच्च लेकिन अव्यक्त शक्ति के रूप में प्रतिक्रिया करते हैं। डबल ट्रायंगल्स ग्रेट पैसिव और ग्रेट एक्टिव का प्रतीक है। मेल एंड फीमेल, पुरुष और प्रकृति को दर्शाते हैं। प्रत्येक ट्रायंगल ट्रिनिटी, त्रिमूर्ति है, चूंकि यह त्रिगुणात्मकता को दर्शाते हैं। व्हाइट ट्रायंगल की रेखाएं ज्ञान, ज्ञाता और ज्ञेय को दर्शाती है। ब्लैक ट्रायंगल की रेखाएं रूप, रंग और पदार्थ तथा सृजनात्मक, संरक्षक और संहारक शक्तियों को दर्शाती है और परस्पर सहसंबंध है। खैर, आप उस असाधारण दृष्टा यानी एना किंग्सफोर्ड की अद्भुत बोधगम्यता की प्रशंसा कर सकते हैं और आश्चर्यचकित हो सकते हैं, जो संस्कृत या पाली भाषा से अनभिज्ञ होकर और उसके आध्यात्मिक खजाने से वंचित होकर भी उन्होंने धर्मों की अस्पष्टता के आड़ से ज्ञान प्रकाश को चमकते हुए देखा है। आप सोचते हैं कि द परफेक्ट वे की लेखिका को कैसे पता चला कि एडोनाई सन था पुत्र था, न कि पिता, या कि ईसाई त्रिमूर्ति का तीसरा पर्सन महिला है। वास्तव में उन्होंने उस पुस्तक में कई बार गुह्य विद्या की गहनता को छुआ है। केवल वह महिला जो अपने लेखन में बिना किसी स्पष्टीकरण के भ्रामक शब्द ईश्वर का प्रयोग करती रहती है, जानती है कि वह हमारे सिद्धांत के कितने करीब है जब वह कहती है कि फादर के रूप में आत्मन जो जीवन है, अनंत सर्कल या परब्रह्म है, और मदर के रूप में द ग्रेट डीप जो प्रकृति है, अपनी अविभाजित स्थिति में प्रकृति। एडोनाई के अधिकार में दोनों की शक्ति है और सभी चीजों की दोहरी शक्तियों का उपयोग करती है। हम कहेंगे ट्रिपल पावर, लेकिन उपर्युक्त अभिप्राय में यह चलेगा। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Meenakshi. Nice.
Thank you, Meenakshi ji, for explaining that very occult part of this letter. And now I invite any questions or discussions from our participants.
Yes, I would like to have my own understanding in the way what has been explained so far, and since certain things are very important, what Shinde has explained so nicely, so it's become very clear in my mind. Because sometimes when we study, and long back we had studied, now again it is a recollection. So it comes to the mind very naturally. It creates a kind of force, and it makes everything very clear in the individual. So that is really the main understanding, and the purpose of arranging such online programs is really important, because since physically we cannot meet frequently in the way when every week we are meeting or every fortnight we are meeting, that is more important. So here, Avalokiteshwar, that is very nicely defined, and you explained about the planetary representation by Sanat Kumarji. And one question is here in my mind about the particular fundamental discussion that was there, which was highly debatable with the British Theosophical Society during that time. So that was also the point, and I think whenever certain facts were on debate and the people concerned may not understand due to their concepts of their own religion. That may be one thing. So, Shindeji, I think that at that time they would have this kind of understanding. So the purpose of writing the letter to Epicenate is very clear. So that is also one matter. And Adonai, that is the word which is used here. So Adonai is the plural form of the Hebrew word Adon. So Adon is the Lord, and Adonai, that is the plural form. That means the Lord of the Lords. If I am wrong, please, you can correct me.
Correct. You are right.
Okay. Because that shows the power and authority. And,
Patim
this is the
patinam param parastad.
right. So it's the Lord of the Lords. There is supreme. Yes. So I'm highly pleased. Really, I'm today very happy in that way. So listening to such talk and deliberation is really leading to our own psyche.
Adani.
Yeah,
It is not Adani.
Right. Not Adani. Okay. Now, one word, that is the phrase, writers of the perfect way. So in this connection, who are the other writers? Is there any such clarity?
Writers of that lady, I gave the name, no?
Yeah, Kingsford. That is Anna Kingsford.
Anna
Kingsfield,
Kingsford.
or what is the name?
She is the author of that,
Anna Kingsford.
The Perfect
Right.
Way.
But I think, okay, but where, or had there been more other writers during that time, or what the Epicenate only was given this later and then others were not concerned at that time? Is it so?
No,
Maybe.
he gave the reference
this
of
is
that
my inquiry.
author and that
Okay.
her discovery. So there is possibility for the intellectuals to touch to that state.
Because yes, some say Ray's David was given that kind of special notice, just like the information that not to suppress Mr. Lilly in that way. So, is there any personal connection or like that?
Yeah, Lilly is his name is Lilly. He is also a good aspirant and pupil who was following the teaching of the
given. Okay, that's all. I'm really too much thankful to you for this today's program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Harshvardhanji. Anybody else would like to share their understanding about these concepts? As Brother Shindeji has said, one must really study each and everything many times and go in depth, because the same symbol, it has so many meanings, and they are all given here. For example, the circle and the point. The circle and the point itself is a mystery. Master is saying that it stands in one place. He says that the central point stands for the seventh principle, and the circle, it stands for Maha-Akash. And then immediately again, he is also saying that it stands for, they are identical, and it stands for, the central point is standing for Jivatma, and the other one for the manifested voice or the logos. So the same symbol can be interpreted in so many ways.
Yeah. Very correct, Vibhaji. Even in our emblem, there is Om. That also a trinity. A-U-M. These three words together forms the Om. Why it is kept at the top? Again, that trinity is symbolized there. So many deeper points are there, one has to contemplate independently. Doesn't matter, whatever appeals to you, go with that.
Right. So thank you, sir, very much for this explanation, and I hope it inspires all our participants to study and meditate and contemplate these concepts more deeply. If there are no more questions, then we will close the session for today, and we'll continue a later part of this letter in our next session.
On 9th August.
9th August, not
Because
on.
next Friday, I am not there.
Okay.
Next to next Friday, it will be
Okay.
ending of this letter.
Okay.